welcome to the Big Happy Music Show with show hostess Julie Klein from the ISW TV studio and Soundstage Theater. And now, here is Julie.
All right. Well, welcome to the very first show, the Big Happy Music Show. And for my very first Big Happy Music Show, I am so pleased to have somebody I really admire and enjoy very much listening to his music. His name is Jeff Stanton. How you doing, Jeff?
Hello.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Well, I have a couple of, first I wanted to ask you two real quick questions. The first one was about your guitar and your piano. You know, the interesting thing about Jeff is that he doesn't just play one instrument well. This is a guy that really plays two instruments amazingly well. Usually, you know, you have a guy who's a pianist and he plays a little guitar, or a guy who's a guitarist and plays a little pianist. So tell us a little bit about what instrument you started playing first and where it went from there.
I started playing guitar first, and I was 15 years old when I picked it up. I bought it off of my cousin for $90. This, you know, small guitar rig, and I was really into punk rock at the time, and then so I played that for 6 or 7 years before I picked up the piano. And how that happened, I got lucky. I was working with a cousin-in-law, and he was doing foreclosed homes, so we'd empty out people's houses, you know, stuff that they just left and went off to wherever. And somebody left a piano. So
like an actual piano, like
an upright full piano.
Full piano.
And I said, "Oh my God, I need this." So we transported it, and I was living with my parents at the time. Transported it there, and I just started banging away.
So that makes a lot of sense. That's why you like that big old Yamaha chunky thing, because you're used to playing an acoustic piano.
Oh yeah, the weighted keys, and I mean, there's nothing better than a real piano.
I hear you.
So yeah, and then I've been playing that for about 5 or 6 years.
Wow. Okay, so actually you've been playing the guitar for considerably longer.
Yeah, 11 or 12 years altogether with the guitar, and like 5 or 6 years with the piano.
Cool. So where are you from originally, Jeff? Are you from this area?
Yep, I've lived in Brevard County since I was 10, and before that I was in Fort Lauderdale, so I've always been in Florida.
So when you first got your guitar, did you start writing songs right away?
No, I just started learning how to play with. Immediately I was interested in, punk rock, because I was a kid, and that's what all my friends were into. But once I started like learning about what, you know, how many more things it can do, I immediately became interested in blues, and then eventually I got introduced to the Beatles, and then I wanted to know how they did that.
Once you get the Beatles, it's all over. Now you want to write your own songs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened. I think I was learning how to play Beatles songs, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. And then I thought maybe I could do this, and it just kind of...
That's interesting that you said that, because I actually hear a little Beatles in the bridge of Catalyst. That bridge, that half step that you go down to and then you go back again.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I probably shouldn't talk too much music lingo, since we want to appeal to everybody on the Big Happy Music Show. But okay, so you started writing tunes on guitar then?
Yep.
And when you hit the piano, did you find that your writing style was modified or changed?
Oh yeah,
or?
Definitely. The way I first approached the piano was I had songs that I'd written on the guitar, and I just started transposing them, or however you would say it, over to the piano, and I started playing the same chords on the piano. Maybe when I got stuck with a song, I couldn't figure out how to write a chorus to it or something, I would take it to the piano, and then there's a whole other kind of writing process when you move to another instrument. You find out all new kinds of things about the song that you were getting stuck with. And
new muscle memory.
New muscle memory, new visual layout, new everything. It's just, you know, so completely different the way you can approach the two instruments. And what was cool about the piano is that I wasn't as comfortable with it, so it was like this, I didn't know what I was doing, and part of that is like there's this huge creative process, I think, that comes with being uncertain with what you're doing.
Part of the learning curve.
Yeah, and it's also, it can be beneficial to songwriting, I think.
So when you first started writing songs, you'd been playing for quite some time then, so you were pretty skilled at your guitar?
I'd been playing for about 4 years.
And had you been singing during that time as well?
No, I was really just playing guitar, and I was 19 years old when I was in my first band, and everybody was at least twice my age. It was this cover band. And
I'm not even going to ask what tunes you did. What tunes did you do?
Oh God, some of them were just so bad. You know, we did 1985, and I hated that song. Counting Blue. What was it? I don't know. I can't even remember. I think I put it like I erased it from my memory.
Exactly.
But the way I found out, I was in this band, and like I say, it was like all these guys, and they all had money because they were all like in their 40s and had jobs, and we were working in the drummer's mom's garage. So I had a key, and on the weekends I would sneak in and with my friends and use their equipment while they were gone.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah. So one time I snuck in with this drummer friend of mine, and I decided I'm gonna try singing into their microphone. And I'd like done choir and stuff, but I didn't know what a microphone, like what that does. It's like, so I went up to it and started bashing, like jamming out with this drummer, and a melody came, and we started writing a song, and I was like, wow. This is awesome. The amplified voice is like, that was it for me. I was like in it. And that's when I really started writing songs, was when I found out how awesome it is to sing into a microphone and
it was pretty
be
awesome.
loud and so on.
Because you have your singing style, you're very powerful, and I feel like you're acutely aware of like what the microphone is doing for you. So that you come by that honestly, then that was your aha moment.
Yeah,
very
it
cool.
was like this whole other kind of singing, and it's very exciting.
So after you quit, well, obviously, I guess if they discovered you in their garage unannounced, they probably fired you.
Yeah, I got fired. I got in trouble with those guys.
No big deal. So what did you do after that?
Let's see. I just jammed with guys a bunch for a couple of years until. And I tried maybe working with some bands, and they just didn't go anywhere. And then I believe I was 23. It was 2007, 8, I don't know. And I started my own band with Ryan Perez. You know Ryan Perez.
I know Ryan well.
And his younger brother Kyle, and that was the Rex Goliath, and that was, that did pretty well.
The Rex Goliath?
Yeah.
It's a great name.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's like science fiction and I'm not sure what else.
I stole it off a bottle of wine. Me and Ryan were drinking wine one night, and we were like, what are we going to call ourselves? And he's like, how about Rex Goliath?
Rex Goliath. Were you guys doing original music then?
Oh, yeah.
Like pretty much all originals?
All originals. We got into covers because we wanted to do 4-hour gigs, but we wanted it to be focused on original music. But it's just,
I know.
It's hard to just pump out 4 hours worth of material.
Extremely.
So we did covers, but mostly we focused on original, and that's what we were known for around the area.
So when you were in that band, I assume it was a full band. You had a bass player, drummer,
and myself,
Ryan, three-piece power trio.
Yes.
Okay, so let's fast forward a little bit, because now I'm listening to what you're doing now. It's interesting because when I first heard your music, I didn't scroll down on the page to jeffstantonmusic.com.
Yes.
I didn't scroll down on the page. I just saw the tunes and I started listening. And after I listened to a couple of tunes, I went, this guy's playing all the instruments. And I scrolled down to the bottom, and sure enough, I saw there it was you and Ryan. Mm-hmm. So you're playing everything on this CD. You're playing the bass, you're playing the guitars, you're playing the keyboards, and obviously there's quite a few overdubs on your guitars. Tell me what it's like to do that as opposed to playing with other musicians and developing the songs that way. Because I mean that's pretty different.
Yeah, it's it takes a longer time. You can't rush it, in my experience with it anyway. Every time I try to rush it, it doesn't work. But really, it's just like, if I take my time with it, then it turns out okay. That's basically my process.
Is it easier to get lost, I guess, kind of? You know, because I mean, for me, like my writing process, when I'm writing, I'm really thinking about, okay, so what's going to go here, what's going to go there, and you know how the band is going to like it and what we're going to do. But when you're left to your own devices, you know, you kind of have this infinite possibility thing going on.
Yeah. So
can that be a little daunting sometimes?
Yes. Yeah. And there were times, you know, whenever I get like into this, like, what am I gonna do with this song? Oh my God! I'll walk away from it, and sometimes I'll start recording it, and it just kind of like happens. It's just like, I'm gonna try this and see if this works, and that's the beauty of it. Maybe that's what it is that I have all the time in the world because it's at my home studio. I pieced it together over a few years, and I could just try stuff and say, no, I don't like that, and then try something different, and that
Right, you don't have
works.
to wait for anybody else to show up. You just
Yeah,
do your thing.
exactly.
So this first song we're going to hear is called Circles.
Mm-hmm.
And since that's kind of the name of your new CD, can you tell us a little bit about that song and how you got to write that particular one? Because that's the one we're going to hear first.
Sure. Yeah, I had written this piano part, and I think I had a melody at some point, and then the hardest part for that song was coming up with the words, and it turned out that the words seemed to be about this like cyclical process, and the album is made up of songs that are new and old, and at the time I was like having this really weird deja vu with people in my life, and it just seemed like so fitting that song to be kind of an expression of the whole album.
So that's the thing with the dog chasing its tail. You're chasing your tail.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the lyrics.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to be taking a break and
Time
listening
for a
to
short break.
Jeff's amazing
Stay
song.
tuned
It's
for
called
more of
Circles,
the
and it is the
Big
title of
Happy
his new
Music
CD.
Show.
All right, this is my song called Circles. Wandering in this old town without old feeling, dark corners with all their charm, got nothing to hide. Roaming the streets and alleyways in hopes of finding you being there behind the lights, waiting for me. And I know that I'm gonna find it soon as I stop looking for it. Meanwhile, chasing my tail, circles are going round and round. Can't I turn off my mind? I think I might be on the brink of falling apart. In darkness of the shadows there, holding still, the answers to a question nobody ever asks. Imagination makes it real, and I can feel it, like the warm breath of heat from a flame. And I know that I'm gonna find it soon as I stop looking for it. Meanwhile, chasing my tail, circles are going round and round. Can't I turn off my mind? I think I might be on the brink of falling apart. from the railing and made a fool as gravity had its way. I think I'll go back to that old town with that old feeling. Look for me there behind the lights is where I wait. And I know that I'm gonna find it soon as I stop looking for it. Meanwhile, chasing my tail, circles are going round and round. Can't I turn off my mind? I think I might be on the brink of falling apart.
Welcome back to the Big Happy Music Show.
All right, welcome back to the Big Happy Music Show. And the song you just heard, called Circles, by my guest, Jeff Stanton. And oh, by the way, that was recorded earlier today. We recorded a couple of songs before we started talking so that we could have a little bit of quiet in the house and get a chance to really hear Jeff's stuff. So tell us a little bit more about that song now that we've heard it.
Sure, yeah. We were talking about how, like, piecing together songs on the album and how do you do that? And, you know, I don't know. But what works for me and what happened with that album in particular was I was working with the violin player, because I didn't play violin on the album, and he actually plays in a couple of bands with me. And
wait, what bands is he playing with you? Just
Honey Miller,
plug your other stuff, okay?
Honey Miller, and also when I perform my music specifically, or with covers, he'll come out and play. And that doesn't really have a name, that band, but anyway, we worked together a lot, and we'd been trying to put together his part in the song. We had the chorus, that hook, I would call it, during the chorus, and then we came up with the introduction, like, as he was there getting ready to record. So we just kind of sat there and listened to it and played through it, and then he came up with his part, and then we went to the second part of the song, and it was an empty space, and I knew I wanted violin, and I thought, well, why don't we just repeat the first part that you played? And we tried it, and then it worked, and then we added another violin into it. I was like, well, why don't we just throw another violin in there?
So the addition of the violins kind of dictated the form of the song.
Yeah, and this was not like predetermined by any means. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. It just kind of magically happened. So that's been how it's been for me in the studio, is just try it, and when it works, you just know it works, and you just accept it and record it, and it's great.
So is this the first time that you've actually put your stuff down, recorded, your material? Like
this, yeah, where I ended up where I was happy with the final product. Prior to this, I've done stuff at home where either I was just like putting ideas down, and I didn't have all the equipment that I needed to make it the fully produced album that I always wanted, or I'd be working with a band like Rex Goliath. We were trying to do the same thing on similar equipment, and it never panned out, and I was never happy with what we were coming up with. And I think it may have had to do with egos involved and bumping or the clashing of heads. And
so you're being able to actually create the sound from A to Z, basically, because you're playing all the instruments except for the drums.
Right, I have total freedom, and no one's going to disagree with me because there's nobody there. So,
So are you, I mean, how do you feel about what you've come up with? Are you like, when you listen to it, do you still go, yes?
I'm really proud of it, yeah. There's some moments where I'm like, that could have maybe been a little better, but then there are moments within it where I'm just like, I can't believe how good it turned out. Really excited about it.
I would tend to agree with you. I think it sounds pretty darn amazing.
Thanks.
Like I said, there's one song I'm particularly fond of, and that's the one we're going to hear next. But tell us about the lyrics a little bit, because, you know, this is one of the things that I think it really separates a good songwriter from a great songwriter, you know. I mean, coming up with really strong lyrics is, I'm sure you know, is pretty hard to do. What's your process? I mean, do you come up with lyrics first? Do you usually just have a riff that you're playing on either the keyboard or the bass? Or
music always comes first. Melody, chords, melody, that's always first, and then lyrics come later. And sometimes I get really lucky and they come immediately after I've written a chord progression and a melody. And those are usually when I'm feeling a certain way, like really maybe in an emotional intensity, yeah. And but no, normally the lyrics come later, and especially when they come much later, it gets harder and harder to write the lyrics. So
tell me about it.
And sometimes I get lucky. Like Circles, for example, I was like trying to write lyrics, sitting at the piano, trying to write lyrics, and nothing was coming to me. And then I had an idea, and I went looking for a pen, and I'm like, this is great, I need to find a pen. I'm looking for a pen, and I can't find a pen. I'm getting upset, and it's like the lyrics that I was thinking about, I just kind of forgot. And as soon as I stopped looking for the pen, you know, it's like that thing where as soon as you stop looking for it, it's like, oh, there it is.
And that's the lyric.
And that's the lyric. It had to do exactly with me losing a pen and then finding it, and then, oh, that's the lyric, yeah.
And people are going to think it's about like love or, you know, God. Oh, no, it's just a pen.
And it is about those things, but the pen kind of started it off, you know.
It's just interesting how that happens. That's very propitious. Ooh.
That's a good word.
That's a big word.
I don't know what it means. That's a good word, though, I assume.
Serendipitous.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I like
Similar.
that. I know that one. All right.
I was an English teacher for 15 years. Don't try this at home. Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. I won't try it.
No, don't try it at all.
Double jeopardy, maybe.
All right, so now tell us a little bit about what you're doing these days. I mean, you got all these songs now. They're all recorded. They're mostly completely to your liking. Now what?
I don't know.
Because I've been seeing your name around. You've been playing a lot.
Yeah. And I play out, and that's part of it. And that's just, you know, making money and going out and playing gigs and having a good time. And
so when you play your original music, you're still getting paid?
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
That's some good stuff. That's, you know, we all know that's not very easy to do.
No, and you know, we make it work, and it's not like we're getting paid buku dollars, but we get paid. We go out there.
You're playing your own stuff.
People seem to like it.
So what are some of the places you've been playing recently?
Well, you know, I play with Honey Miller, and that with that band we do Murdoch's and Rockledge and Juice and Java. Those are solid gigs every month.
So if we come and hear Honey Miller, will we hear any of your songs?
Yeah, I do perform.
Excellent.
Them with Honey Miller, and the thing is that when I book a gig focusing on my music and not Honey Miller's music, I basically take most of the guys from Honey Miller
with me,
and because they know my songs,
right.
and that's
like
who
Ryan.
I play them with. And it's just sometimes it's nice to just get to do a gig with music that I want to work on, and it's, you know, my music, and it's covers that I get to sing and perform in front. And
so you do some covers when you're doing your own thing as well?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, like what? What do you do?
We've been doing Dig a Pony by the Beatles.
Wow.
What else? We do some Radiohead, like...
That's one of my son's favorite Beatles songs, by the way, just so you know. You have a 13-year-old's approval.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, we do like this song called Bloom from Radiohead. And
have you ever seen them live?
Yeah, several times. They're great.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. When I grow up, I want to be like Radiohead.
Yeah, they're a huge inspiration for what I do.
Yeah. I hear a little bit of that in there too, especially in some of the keyboard work.
Yeah. Cool. I don't know, what else do? We do some jazz stuff, and we do some blues stuff. Just stuff that I like and they like, you know. Aaron, the bass player, he'll just say, "Hey Jeff, why don't we?" He was the one that came up with the "Dig a Pony." I was like, "Yeah,
Good choice.
I'll do that. It's a cool tune."
So I mean, do you have like a manager that books you? Are you looking for management? I mean, let the world know. You know, what is it you want? What do you want next? Let's manifest it right now, man. Let's do it.
I would love to go on tour. I mean, I would love to tour on my music, but I'm not really sure how to make that happen. So for now, I'm just gonna keep playing around here, and I'd like to record another album. So that's on my mind.
Do you have a lot of new stuff? I mean, are you working on a bunch
I have a
new
lot of
material
new
right now?
stuff and a lot of old stuff, and I just try to find those songs that like complement each other and put them all on one album. That's what I did with the last one.
Oh, so there were songs on, that you left off of this CD because you didn't feel it worked with.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
and I can only do so many songs at a time, you know.
True enough. All right, so let's talk about the song that we're going to hear next, which is a song called Catalyst. Now, I got to tell you, when I first heard your CD, and you know how you do when you go to Reverb Nation, or you go to somebody's CD page, you just kind of look, you listen to a couple of bars of everything, and then you're going to go back and check it again. I heard that song, and my ears just really perked up. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm a bass player and I really like the bass line. But Will, who's the studio owner here, also found that tune to be a particular favorite.
Yeah,
so
and he only heard the live version.
That's right.
Which is
That's right.
not completely, but very different in production.
It's way less layered. Yeah. That's for sure.
So yeah, that song's like, that's one of my oldest songs. It's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old or something. I don't know, maybe older than that. I can't remember. And I played that with Rex Goliath, the 3-piece. So that was really stripped down.
Oh, so that's like from the old days.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we had a recording of that, and I was never happy with it. And so it's just really old, and it's about trying to push forward through hard times, I guess, or just seeing kind of like I guess I wasn't happy with. It was the Bush administration, and I was like, this is crazy. So it was, it's old, but anyway, yeah, the new version is like got like 5 guitars and all kinds of stuff going on in it, and I would love to make that band happen. That would be really cool. But no, it's just
so that guitar lick that you're playing. I mean, so that's I assume that's how the song started.
Yep.
All right, and then when you went in your little home studio, you added the bass part to it.
Yes.
And then the other guitars just kind of
I kind of had an idea of what I wanted, and I knew that I wanted it to be really dense and filled with stuff. So I had the drum track, and I had Ryan record the drums on basically the whole album, and then I added a more basic form of what I play on the acoustic version. Instead of like trying to play every note, I just play the roots, and then that gives me more room for all the other guitars. So rather than one guitar trying to do everything like I would do here, it's fun to just like piece it together like a puzzle.
It's interesting though when you played it earlier today, and obviously it was just you and the guitar. I got to tell you, I didn't miss any of the other things. So we'll advise our listeners here, if you like this next song as much as I like this next song, you want to check it out on jeffstanton.com and hear what he actually did with it when he was in the studio and added a bunch of layers and did a lot of things to it. And all right, so we're gonna be listening to that song. And again, this one coming up is called
Catalyst.
Catalyst.
Time for a short break. Stay tuned for more of the Big Happy Music Show.
And this is my song called Catalyst. we given up? I'm comfortably done, spinning on this dial. I'll close my eyes and laugh. Yeah, oh, we climbing to the top just to fall off. Oh, we giving it all we've got when we are wrong, we are wrong. Will these lights come back on? I'm holding on to walls. Could you please just call out from in the dark? Yeah, oh, we climbing to the top just to fall off. Are we giving it all we've got when we are wrong, we are wrong. We are wrong. Listy right us into the unknown. We must not step back. We must push on forward. Yeah. Oh, we're climbing to the top just to fall off. Oh, we're giving it all we've got when we are wrong. Oh, we're climbing to the top just to fall off. Are we giving it all we've got when we are wrong? We are wrong. We are wrong. Yeah.
welcome back to the Big Happy Music Show.
All right, again, welcome back to the Big Happy Music Show with my big happy guest, Jeff Stanton. And that last song was Catalyst. I really liked that song. I was actually playing the bass line at home, and it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. I could have played that bass line for, I'm a bass player. We're kind of dumb anyway, but I could have literally played it for like 20 minutes.
It's a fun.
Just like playing it.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
I love playing that
Just
song.
swang it on a couple of strings, those top 3 strings. I was like, yeah.
There's a groove about it, and that's what I love about it. And playing it live, you just want to dance with your instrument,
Mm-hmm.
And those are my favorite songs when you can't help but just move around.
Yeah, I could definitely see Ryan and you like jamming out to that song 6 years ago. And
Oh yeah,
doing your thing.
The best time I ever had with that song was Honey Miller had this conga player, and he's gone. He's moved to Buffalo a couple of years ago, and anyway, we played it. I don't know if you've ever heard the 3-2-1 local, but we were playing all the time there at the Rex Goliath, all the time playing. And Honey Miller's pretty restrained with their volume and stuff, which is a good thing for Honey Miller. It works really well. But Rex Goliath was really intense and really loud and
my kind of band.
Yeah, and it was fun. We rocked it out. And anyway, we took the conga player from Honey Miller one night and brought him over to the 3-2-1, and they're just a loud, raunchy bar anyway. So that was some of the most fun I had, and that turned out to be in front of a very large audience.
Wow.
We were opening for this band from Texas, and they brought a lot of people. And anyway, it was just really cool. The congas is what really helped out.
Yeah, percussion is really it. In fact, I was just talking with Ryan yesterday. We played with Ryan yesterday, just rehearsed with him, and he said, you guys could really use a percussion player.
Yeah.
So I'll have to jazz him about that gig. Now I know I can.
I think everybody could use a percussion player.
Seriously, a good one.
Oh,
Only
yeah.
a good one.
My favorite band, one of my favorite bands around town is Brevard Busking Coalition, and they have just killer percussion. Plus, Anthony is the man. He's I think their main percussionist. But
I've got to get out and hear them. I've heard of them, and I'd love to have them on the show, but I heard wonderful things about them, and I think they just won some award on.
They won the Entertainer of the Year award,
Wow,
and
very
Tom
cool.
Van Dyke, their drummer, he just won the Drummer of the Year award, and he's one of my favorite people ever, and he's a great drummer, and
Oh, very cool.
such a good band.
I will have to. Do you ever play with them?
Oh yeah, back in the Rex Goliath days, Tom was in, and he still is in, Elephant Gun.
That's a subtle name. I like that.
Yeah,
Elephant Gun.
Rex Goliath and
Elephant Gun.
Yeah, we were gigging together.
Double bill.
All the time. And Dave Pastorius is in that band, and Trevor. So, yeah, it was like this great time, and we got to play these really, really awesome shows together. So,
Oh, more good times to come.
yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about this recording that you think you are planning on embarking on, a new recording.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's kind of just fermenting in my brain right now, because I got a lot of ideas, I've got a lot of songs, and that's the hardest part, is piecing it together before you start recording.
So when you say fermenting, you mean like you've already got ideas for a lot of songs, you've got a lot of songs that are done?
Both, and I'm not sure which songs are going to complement each other, so I don't want to overwhelm myself with work.
So, but you really think about that? You think about which songs are going to go with each other?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's one, I've never been able to do that. Like, I've never even been able to put set lists together very well.
Yeah.
I'm in very much admiring of that quality, because I just see, like, I'm into the song, I'm into a song, and then it's like, okay, the next song, whatever it is, I'm cool with it. I don't really care.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think about how things fit together. That's very admirable that you do that, even before you've recorded. That shows a lot of thought,
Yeah, and I think a lot about it, because I know it's going to be a whole period of time where I'm just going to be in it, and everything else is going to take second.
That's interesting. So that's a good question then, something I forgot to ask you. How long did it take you, because I'm listening to this recording that you've done already, And how many songs are on there? Just
11.
11. And each song is pretty intense, and there's a lot of parts on most of them. So how long did it take you to do that, since you were working by yourself so much?
About 8 months.
And that's like pretty consistent, like daily work?
No, that's me. Well, yeah, but not like 8-hour days, you know.
No, but you were thinking about it, dwelling in it, etc. for 8 months.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so probably it would be a similar time commitment to do this next one as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow. So I'm waiting then. We're in September, right? October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Okay, so May or June. I'm looking for it.
I'd like to give it a year,
oh,
probably.
Man, come on. That could make me wait a whole year.
Because I'm just kind of scared of the whole idea anyway. It's just like daunting.
Well, your girlfriend doesn't get to see you. Nobody knows where you are. You're like missing in action.
Yeah, pretty much.
So one of the things I also noticed about your songs, your lyrics tend to be very kind of oblique. You're not like this real narrative guy telling like a story like a Bruce Springsteen, like Will loves Bruce Springsteen.
Sure, yeah.
You know, you're not that narrative guy. You're more like the oblique, spacey, kind of, you know, maybe you could think this about the lyric, but maybe you could think that about the lyric. But I noticed that one theme I'm finding is yearning. Like I hear a lot of real like longing and yearning in these songs. Am I wrong here, or am I on the money?
I think
with the yearning.
I think I agree with that. Yeah.
So let me know what is Jeff yearning for? What are you looking for?
Oh boy.
What are you looking for, kiddo? Talking love here? What are you talking?
Well, I have to think about the songs. And like Song for a Friend, that was really about a friend of mine.
Yeah, and I like that one.
Yeah.
That's probably your most, actually that's probably your most narrative song.
That one, I would say that one, The Drifter, that's a pretty narrative. I once had a girl, she gave my love away, drifted over an ocean, met her blue-eyed stray. It's just
yearning. You still got the yearning.
It's total yearning. And I was at the time. I was like completely heartbroken when I wrote that song. And so, but that's a narrative. It's with totally a yearning narrative.
Yes.
And then there's some of the more other vague ones. I think Ride is one. Ride is pretty vague, and that's but
it's got that whole desire thing in it, so you can't
absolutely
really discount that. I mean, that's got that.
That has a lot of layers about it for me. Like that one, I don't know if you've ever heard of Bill Hicks, the comedian.
Bill Hicks? No, I can't say I have.
Well, he's this guy from the early 90s, and he was pretty influential on a lot of bands at the time. I know radio had dedicated the Bends to Bill Hicks, and Tool dedicated.
How come I haven't heard of this guy?
Well,
is he still around?
No, he died in, I think, 1993. Oh. And I was introduced to him through Tool. If you've listened to Inema, I don't know how to say that album's name, but that album is also dedicated to Bill Hicks. And anyway, that song is my tribute to Bill Hicks.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's actually...
What did he die of, if you don't mind me?
Cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was young. He was only 33.
Wow.
So
it's not. He wasn't a Lenny Bruce. He didn't die of a drug overdose.
No, he was actually completely clean at the time.
Cool.
He had given up drugs and drinking,
and that's when they get you.
Yeah, that's when the cancer gets you. I guess I don't know. But so yeah, I love that guy, and that song is just about the idea that.
But what about the title, Ride? I mean, it's not in the lyric, right?
Yep.
It is?
No, maybe it's not.
I don't think it is, man. Because this is one of the things my bandmates give me major shit about, is because I like to sometimes title songs words that aren't in the song, and they don't like that, man. They don't like that.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. The word isn't in the song, and what I took it from was Bill Hicks. He would end his show a lot of times, and he would say, "This, it's just a ride." He's talking about life. It's like there's nothing to be afraid of. It's all just a ride.
Cool.
And then he would, like, one of his quotes was, "This must be real." So that's in.
Oh yeah, that's in the lyric.
Yeah. So
very cool.
Really, I just stole stuff from Bill. And
hey, David Bowie said you just got to know who to steal from.
Yeah.
It's absolutely true. Well, we want to once again say there's going to be a song coming up. You were going to hear Jeff play the song that we just talked about. Yeah. It's called Ride. And thanks.
Time for a short break. Stay tuned for more of the Big Happy Music Show.
I've been searching for something, but something never comes. Oh, I wanna show you something. It will leave them feeling now. This must be real. This must be real. Oh, I've seen it in my nightmares, and everything is alright. It's just nothing quite compares to the comfort of this strife. This must be real. This must be real. And I know I'm not the only one trying to escape from this fire. And I know I'm not the only one trying to escape your desire, your desire, your desire, your They like it.
Good job.
Thanks, man.
All right, that was about 15 minutes worth of music.
Cool.
Perfect. All right, we'll get the table and chairs set up.
Welcome back to the Big Happy Music Show.
Welcome back to the last part of the first Big Happy Music Show. And I have my guest here, Jeff Stanton, and you just heard his song, Ride. So all the ladies out there are going to be very disappointed to know that that song is not, in fact, about a certain kind of desire, but actually about this wonderful comedian you were speaking of.
Yeah.
So tell us about what do you do for fun when you're not playing music?
I like to surf when there's actually waves, but it's been kind of
good luck with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I love playing music. If I could, I just
Do that all the time.
play a lot more of that. So I'm actually trying to get into that more and play more gigs. I've just been doing Honey Miller for a while and getting to play other instruments. I'm playing bass for some bands now. I love playing bass.
Isn't bass fun?
Oh God,
It is.
yeah.
So I actually started out as a keyboard player. I'm
Really?
the opposite of you. I started out as a piano player, and then I got so frustrated with playing with bass players who were frustrated guitarists. They wanted to play all the time and too
Right.
much, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Let me show you how it's done, pal.
Yeah.
I bought a bass, and within like 2 years, that's all I wanted to play. I don't even touch the key. I'm playing with my little kid occasionally. Like I'll show her a little minuet or a little Bach thing, and
Sure.
show her a couple of stuff. But bass is where it's at.
Bass is cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Big bad bass.
yeah, the bass owns the band, in my opinion. I mean,
Oh, I love that.
yeah. it
Can I
does.
use that?
Sure. Yeah.
The bass owns the band. Do you hear that? The bass owns the band. All right.
I mean, you get all this. You're given all this rhythmic control and timing control and dynamic control,
right?
and I feel like guys don't utilize it as much as I want them to.
Well, girls do.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so we were talking about playing live.
Yeah.
And since we are coming up towards the end of the show, we would very much like to do some shameless promotion,
Absolutely.
shameless plugging. So let us know where we can hear Jeff Stanton play his fabulous music.
Okay. Well, I don't have any gigs of my own booked right now. Although every Wednesday I host an open mic at the local joint in Rockledge from 7 to 10 every Wednesday, and then next.
So if we show up at the local joint on Wednesday, we will definitely hear some of your music.
Yeah, I'll be playing solo.
Great.
And sometimes people come out and play with me.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the Honey Miller guys will come out and
Cool.
we'll jam on stuff or work on something new.
Where is the place?
The local joint is on Barton and Morel. Yep.
Okay, so
Right
Rockledge proper.
on the north side of Barton, there's a strip mall right there on Morel. So it's in that place.
All right, so every Wednesday.
Yep.
Cool.
Thursday, the 19th, I'll be playing with Josh Miller at Patty Cassidy's, and I'll be playing bass. And
See, there you go.
yep,
Ask and you shall receive.
exactly.
The bass man.
That's right. And then
Excellent.
Friday, I'm playing bass again for a guy named Shane, and that's a fun gig. We do a lot of just popular music, but it's great. It's just
So it's a
much
cover
fun.
band, but it's a good time.
It's a good time, yeah. And then every first Friday of the month, we play Honey Miller plays at Murdoch's, and that's in Cocoa Village.
Nice, Cocoa Village.
Yes. So, and also every second Friday, Honey Miller plays at Juice and Java.
Oh, great. So we can see you with Honey Miller fairly frequently.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll keep us posted. Obviously, we'd be on your website. And do you have a website?
I do.
Or just the Jeff Stanton Music?
JeffStantonMusic.com, and all that is you can download my music there. And I do have a Space Coast Live now. Yep, Space Coast Live. So if you search my name under Space Coast Live, you'll
We'll find all your gigs.
all my gigs.
Excellent. Okay, so which leads me to my very last question of the night, which I was prompted by our wonderful engineer. You never see him, but he's the behind-the-scenes guy. He said, ask him what's the weirdest thing that ever happened on a gig. So I put it to you, Jeff. What is the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you on a gig?
There's so many things, but one of my favorite memories was I was playing with Rex Goliath at this really small club, and these two girls, were playing our set, and these two girls they got mad at each other and started fighting.
Oh God!
Like feet away from us.
Like a cat fight, like really rolling around and hair pulling.
It was ugly. Like they were getting into it, and people had to separate them and pry them apart, and they didn't want to let go. They just wanted to tear each other to pieces. So we just kept playing. Like, wow, this is
free entertainment.
It's far out, but it was fun.
God. Alrighty, and well, I guess in the shameless promotion department, I get to plug my gigs too, though. So Mighty Jungle, my band, for which I am a bass player and a singer, is going to be playing at a place called Originals on Wednesday the 18th. That's the 18th of September, and that's a singles night. So if you're single, come on down. Or if you just wish you were single, right, and you want an excuse to check out the singles night, you just say, hey, I'm there to see my friend Julie's band, right? So, this could work either way. And then we are playing on the 20th. We're also on the 20th at, oh God, help me, Excess. A place called Excess in Melbourne, and that's Mighty Jungle. We're going on at 9, and then Southside Junction is going on at after us. All right. Well, it's been like an amazing, wonderful pleasure to speak with you and actually listen to you play live was really quite a treat. One I recommend to anybody out there. You definitely can't find a more entertaining, more earnest guy than this guy who's basically singing and playing his heart out. Really, really enjoyed hearing you. And this was it. I am no longer a virgin. You are my very first Big Happy Music Show. Yay! I never have to do the first one again. Yay!
It was fun.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much, Jeff. All righty. That's it. Sayonara. See you next time.
Bye-bye.